enriches the faith and lives of believers, empowers teachers and preachers, and energizes church ministry in unforgettable and lasting ways. Internationally known speakers and authors travel with many of our tours, contributing their insights and expertise. Our world-class guides are dedicated to giving guests the experience of a lifetime. We offer and often include exclusive excursions in many destinations. All this and more is aimed at enriching your and your travelers' faith. Old and New Testament landscapes range from the Middle East all the way to Europe, and ETS offers hundreds of departures and numerous unforgettable itineraries to choose from. All this and more follow the missionary journeys of Paul in the Mediterranean. Your travelers engage in historical and New Testament implications of the Scriptures from the Middle East. When you visit ancient wonders, and ETS offers hundreds of Turkey and numerous unforgettable itineraries. As a worldwide leader in Holy Land travel, we are certain to have just the experience for you and your ministry. Follow in the footsteps of Jesus as his life, death, and resurrection unfold before your very eyes, with visits to Bethlehem, Nazareth, the Galilee, Jerusalem, and more. You can also get involved in and learn about the struggles this region continues to encounter through contemporary travel options we offer. The faith of our church fathers gives us encouragement, instruction, and vision. ETS has tailor-made tours that trace the lives and works of many influential Christian figures, including John Wesley, Martin Luther, and C.S. Lewis. Bolster your faith and further engage in the heart of your traditions on a church heritage tour. Experience many biblical and cultural destinations by sea with our award-winning cruise partners, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, and Azamara. Be transported to destinations sacred and exotic while only having to unpack once. Comfortable staterooms, delicious and bold cuisine, plus Broadway-style entertainment, spas, and boutiques will make your voyage truly memorable. Speaking of cruising, ETS has partnered with AMA Waterways to bring you the luxurious and elegant option of river cruising. With vessels in Asia, Africa, Europe, and more, you can enjoy the company of like-minded believers while exploring cultures throughout the world. The church is known for encouraging and communing together as a way of illustrating the love and unity of Christ to the world. Women's ministries, marriage retreats, church anniversaries, and other special occasions are times to gather with your faith family. Form extraordinary memories by celebrating in locations all over the world on one of our fellowship cruises. Choose from destinations like Alaska, Hawaii, the Caribbean, Antarctica, and more. ETS is honored to make engaging in mission work simple and accessible. No matter what the heart of your ministry is, we can connect you with meaningful and life-changing work and provide you with deeply discounted airfare all over the globe. Enrich your faith and renew your spirits. Come travel with us. From Rome to Ephesus, from the Galilee to Athens, from Jerusalem to Corinth, these are Bible Land Cruises, where you'll cruise the journeys of Paul, see the stories of the Bible come to life, and fellowship with other believers. Explore the sites central to Jesus' ministry, like Capernaum, the Mount of Beatitudes, and the Sea of Galilee. Discover the paths of your faith on Mars Hill in Athens, through the ruins of Corinth and the theater at Ephesus. Gain a better understanding of the cultures the Apostle Paul would have encountered in Malta, Rome, and Pompeii. Experience the sites central to Christ's Passion along the Via Dolorosa, at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and on the Mount of Olives.
Everything was very well coordinated. We felt safe, we felt secure. It was interesting, it was informative, it was historical as well as spiritual.
When you've done it, it makes it so much, so much more enriching and real. It makes it real.
Each day seems to be a new favorite.
The knowledge that's been shared with us, even though we know the Bible and we know our faith. The guides have just brought it more and more to life, and being here allows me to go back and now talk to my clients and my family and friends and bring that to life for them too.
Cruise in style aboard award-winning cruise lines such as Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, and Azamara, featuring delicious cuisine, Broadway-style entertainment, and comfy balcony cabins where you'll only have to unpack once. Listen to exclusive guest speakers talk about the life of Paul and the development of the church during the New Testament. Learn more as our trained and certified guides take you deeper into the history of your faith during included and exclusive shore excursions at most ports of call. Return home with a refreshed faith, new perspectives, and experiences to share. These are Bible Land Cruises. Call your local travel advisor today. Retrace the journeys of Paul during a life-changing cruise and discover the early church's growth. Hop aboard award-winning cruise lines like Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian as you travel the sparkling waters of the Mediterranean. Then step ashore and experience included exclusive shore excursions led by expert guides where guests will delve deep into sites central to Paul's ministry. Guests will return home with a renewed sense of understanding as they read the Bible with Ephesus, Corinth, and Athens popping off the page. Many Journeys of Paul cruises also feature a keynote speaker or artist primed to magnify the journey with their knowledge, expertise, and inspiration. Enjoy the peace of mind of arranged airfare, transfers, entrance and program fees already included, onboard hospitality staff, and more. Come along on an unforgettable Journeys of Paul cruise and be a part of a life-changing journey. From the shores of Ireland to the cobbled streets of Germany, you're invited on the Church Heritage Tours. Follow the lives and ministry of church fathers, tour ancient Christian sites, behold magnificent castles and cathedrals, and partake in unique worship experiences on any of these amazing travel itineraries. Behold imposing and awe-inspiring architecture throughout Germany on the Reformation Tour. Follow Martin Luther's life and ministry. Stand in the fortress where he hid after he was declared an outlaw. Glimpse the palace door where his 95 Theses once hung. Walk the town where Johann Gutenberg developed movable type, which eventually made way for the Bible to be dispersed throughout the world. Great Britain is replete with beauty and history, and there are multiple tours that explore her exceptional landscapes and rich Christian history. A Wesley Heritage Tour follows the life and ministry of John Wesley. Stand in the new room. Visit churches where he preached. See where he had his warming of the heart experience and much more. Walk through thousands of years' worth of history on a Celtic Christianity tour, where huge iconic crosses and prehistoric monuments illustrate the depth of faith in these verdant lands. Journey throughout England to sites such as Canterbury, Boston, and Lutterworth on the Anglican Heritage Tour. Or be immersed in the life of one of the most oft-quoted Christian writers of our time on the Legacy of C.S. Lewis Tour, taking you to Oxford, London, Cambridge, and more. Travel on a Church Heritage Tour and engage with your faith traditions like never before. To find out more or book your tour, call your local travel advisor today.
Hello ETS Travel Advisors. It's good to have you join us today. I'm here with David Welch, our VP of Business Development, and Bethany Barbary, the other half of our sales team here at ETS. We're looking forward to sharing the top 10 reasons to sell faith-based travel, and a few special guests are joining us today to share their success stories. But first, let's take a few minutes to pray. Do you mind, Bethany?
Sure. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for allowing us to gather here today and help educate our wonderful travel advisors on why faith-based travel is so important. But I would really like to lift up Christina and Greg Olney today as they're traveling to Oregon. Unfortunately, Christina's sister passed away suddenly, so if everyone could please keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and we hope that you, Lord, will be able to help them through this and get them back home safely. Please continue to guide our efforts in creating these wonderful fellowship opportunities. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And thank you, Bethany. I also wanted to take a quick 10-second moment of silence just in memory of those that gave their lives or perished during the 9/11 2001 events, which really did change our travel industry, and many of you experienced that. So let's go ahead and take a brief moment of silence for that. Thank you for joining us in that. And it did really change the face of the travel industry, as many of you know, but it also gave people much more of a reason to book through tour operators using travel advisors. And so we wanted to reassure you that that safety is of the utmost importance to us. And as we venture to provide these life-changing experiences, we want you to be fully confident that we have your back and your guests' back as well. Now, it might surprise you, but now really is a great time to sell faith-based travel. There are so many destinations around the world related to Christianity that the possibilities are nearly limitless. So let's dig into the top 10 reasons for selling faith-based travel through ETS and look at why ETS is the leader in faith-based travel. John?
Absolutely. The first reason is to better understand the Bible's historical, geographical, and cultural context. From a geographical standpoint, there really isn't anything like taking a bus ride from the Galilee to Jerusalem and remembering Jesus and his disciples walked that 3-hour bus ride. Imagine that. Historically, stepping into an ancient Roman theater in Ephesus will help you realize how technology has changed over the millennia. There were no sound systems back then, but they designed the theaters so strategically that every seat in the house could hear every word spoken from the stage. Culturally, you could be standing on Mars Hill in Athens in the Parthenon in the background and think about the contrast between Greek polytheistic culture versus Paul's claim that only one God is the creator of the word and can be personally known instead of the unknown God the Greeks worshipped. There are so many more examples like this, but the important thing to remember is that faith-based travel brings clarity to the Bible's historical, geographical, and cultural context. Additionally, our faith-based shore excursions are virtually exclusive to ETS. These shore excursions are not provided by the cruise lines. We hand-select the guides to ensure your guests receive faith-based information about the sites they're visiting. Each shore excursion is not just about the history of the site, but about what happened there as it relates to specifically Christianity. Bethany, what's our second item?
Yes, the second reason to choose ETS faith-based travel is to travel with your community. Offering your group leaders the opportunity to take their guests on a week-and-a-half journey puts them in an atmosphere to build relationships. They will get to know their people better. They'll be able to minister to their people outside of normal daily routines. People tend to open up more and share more about what's going on in their lives, when you're having these peaceful moments. They tend to make new and stronger connections with each other, and they carry those back to their church. Many come back more engaged in the church, more willing to volunteer, more willing to give, because they feel more connected to their church community. The second reason flows nicely into our third. David.
Wonderful. So as you're presenting these opportunities, it's really important to share this as a tip with the faith leader of the community that creates buy-in. And this is one of the most important aspects of why we do what we do, which is discipleship. So the third reason is discipling believers. Now, faith-based travel creates stronger disciples. We know that. In fact, it goes back to the time of the Bible. You see the Apostle Paul traveling with his disciples and those he was training up to be the next generation. Timothy comes to mind. Guests in our context tend to return home with a newfound love for the Bible, their spiritual rock, and their spiritual family. They want to spend more time in prayer and Bible reading. They're more open to what your group leader is teaching, and they want to be taught more. They return home yearning to learn more about the people and the places they've seen. They're more willing to do their own independent research and work to become a stronger disciple of Christ. Over and over, we hear how our journeys are used in changing lives, and you get to be a part of that. Guests take their faith more seriously when they travel with us. Now, any doubts that they have about the historical records according to the Bible are stripped away. But discipleship does not stop at simply learning, which moves us into our fourth category. John?
So the fourth is developing leaders within the church. Our faith-based journeys encourage guests to take the next step in their faith walk. They return home feeling better equipped to lead Bible studies and small groups. They're ready to talk about their new faith discoveries and want to help lead in ministries they're a part of. And if there were any doubts on the importance of travel ministry, those doubts were removed. They've experienced firsthand the benefit of walking in the lands of the Bible and the sites central to Christianity. They're ready to be travel ministry evangelists, encouraging others to go on the next journey. Continuing with the theme of leadership, Bethany, what's our fifth reason?
Yes, so our first four reasons have covered guests, but our next reason is focused on the group leader. The fifth reason is continuing education for pastors. Your group leaders will typically be pastors and ministry leaders who prep sermons and lessons on a weekly basis. They're deep in the lives of the people in the church on a daily basis. Most are so busy with those tasks that continuing their education or investing in their own professional and personal development is way down on the list. Coming from a family of ministers, I can absolutely say that's true. It was always themselves that they put last, and that can cause such burnout. So being able to have, a faith-based journey and to get away from all the responsibilities and really just get in tuned with their congregation is so, so meaningful. So our faith-based journeys provide that opportunity to learn that even as group leaders, most of the time they're seeing these sites for the very first time. They've read about them, they learned about them before ordination, but it's so different when you actually get to see it. And that reminds me of our founder, Dr. Jim Ridgway, that, he had the opportunity to travel after he'd become a pastor. And, he saw how it changed in his reading the Bible, and it changed how he preached when he came back home. So it is so, so meaningful to continue that education. They're going to return home with new insights and be better equipped to explain the scriptures, such as why people always go up to Jerusalem, no matter which direction they came from. They'll be able to visualize the Bible while preaching from the scriptures. So let's pause for a moment. We've got some special guests that would like to share some valuable tips and explain why they chose to offer faith-based travel through ETS.
First, remember, the world is a really big place. Don't box yourself in and think only the Holy Land. Of course, it's the #1 destination for faith-based travel, but the world's a really big place. There are so many spiritually inspired destinations. Italy, Spain, Greece. Earlier this year, we did a custom trip to Germany that revolved around a very niche, specific religious heritage. So it was very cool. It worked out tremendously. The group was thrilled. So expand your horizons. Think outside of the box, or outside of the Holy Land in this case. Another tip that I have for you is work with a really good partner that you trust. Work with a solid travel partner, one that you can talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Anybody who does groups knows there's always a little bit of ugly in there. So work with a trusted travel partner. They make all the difference in the world. And Have a great day and good luck expanding your faith-based travel.
I am Deborah Crammel, and I've escorted about 10 groups with ETS over 10 years. As you get to know your group leader better, really watch, listen, and try to understand his or her motivation for leading the group, and it may not be obvious at first. Here we are at the Mount of Beatitudes celebrating Mass. The gentleman in the middle is our deacon. He describes that proclaiming the Beatitudes as the gospel, then preaching about them to us while standing on the Mount of Beatitudes, looking at the Sea of Galilee as Jesus did, was such a rush. He explained this while describing to a different priest why he should go to the Holy Land. That priest said, "Oh, that's nice," then proceeded to say the people who go to Saturday evening Mass at his parish don't know the people at Sunday morning Mass, nor those who attend later in the day. He wanted to bond his parishioners to each other and to him. When I went to Oberammergau and joined up with the group, the priest read the gospel and preached to an empty Salzburg cathedral with his group behind him gathered in the choir area. He wanted to celebrate Mass in the footsteps and tradition of church leaders over the centuries. Because of an unusual situation in our group, he was able to accompany a guest in a wheelchair to sit near Pope Francis on the stage at St. Peter's. This humble priest from India was able to kiss Pope Francis' ring and shake his hand. My priest thanked me and said it was the best day of his life. Build your relationships with your group leaders so you can witness the love and kindness of God in your group experiences.
When I pitch Holy Land trips to religious leaders, there's three main points that I want to cover. One is that with ETS, they can have a private tour, that they can control their own message. They're not going to be bundled with somebody else and having to compete for that time. Secondly is the trust. ETS is a leader in doing Holy Land tours, and that's really important to pastors. And thirdly is that all the details are going to be taken care of between their TA and between ETS's home office staff. All the details are managed out, and all the pastor has to do is enjoy himself and lead his group. Thanks.
All right. Thank you all so much for sending in your tips and taking the time to speak with us. David, let's hop back into the last 5 reasons.
Okay, but before we do that, Bethany, I did want to say that several of you were interested in sending your top tips or even some great stories from selling faith-based travel and your experiences. And we're going to put a couple more of those, or maybe a few more, in the B-roll for our next webinar in October. So if you'd like to email us a clip of yourself, you can get some 15 seconds of fame, I guess. We'd love to put a few of those on. So feel free to email those to ets@travelwithus.com. And thank you, Bethany. Our last 5 reasons focus on you, the travel advisor, with the 6th being exclusive travel opportunities for travel advisors. And I would actually like to add for hosts sometimes as well. We're willing to extend some of our FAM opportunities to them as well. Our exclusive FAM tours are designed and priced to let you experience what you're selling to your group leaders. So these are condensed journeys at a reduced rate. You'll stay at the hotels we use on our normal journeys. You'll see all the primary sites, and you won't have to be gone quite as long. We normally shorten those to a few days. Getting back home to continue managing your agency. And once you're ready to help a group leader promote a journey, our next reason is there to help.
That's right. The 7th is promotional materials. Our promotional materials are designed to highlight the faith-based aspects of the journey, and we produce them for you complimentary. Each journey receives a brochure and a dedicated web page on the ETS website. You, as an ETS travel advisor, also receive a dedicated web page that features the tours you want to promote. You can personalize this page with your contact information, logo, photo, and a description of your services as well. In addition, catalogs are available to order and download, and we can provide promotional videos, social media resources, and promotional emails upon request. Our full-service creative services team is dedicated to providing the tools you need to successfully promote you and your group leaders' journeys. All of these resources and more are available on the Advisors Corner section of our website. Our next benefit will provide exclusive training for how to use these resources. Bethany?
Yes. The 8th is unparalleled training, including developing cultural intelligence among practicing Christians that can directly affect how you interact with your home communities. Plus, we offer our faith-based travel specialist certification. This on-demand online certification positions you to be an expert in the faith-based travel niche. You'll complete this course knowing what sets ETS apart from the crowd, how best to provide faith-based travel opportunities to your potential group leaders, how to talk to them and how to get their attention, and how to present our top 10 reasons to them. When you successfully complete your certification, we'll send you a certificate and a logo that you can use to promote yourself as such, and that you can put on all of your emails and websites. This will show that you are officially ETS faith-based travel specialists, an exclusive and unique aspect of your travel business. This leads us to our next reason.
And we are almost there, but yes, our 9th reason is industry-leading financial benefits. Now I'm going to throw to this slide. On land tours and ocean cruises, we start with a 15% commission, and we offer 20% commission on river cruises. Our tour conductor ratios start at 1 for 10, so the 11th being free. Ocean and river cruises feature a 1:11 ratio. But if you're an ETS faith-based travel specialist, you'll actually receive a 16% commission and a 1:9 tour conductor ratio on land tours. So whether you or the group leader wants to travel for free, we make it easy to establish that. Plus, our commission structure makes it easy for you to plan your business goals and budget accordingly. Now let's wrap up our top 10 list. John?
Thanks, David. Our 10th is simple. ETS is a one-stop shop for faith-based travel. This really combines the last 9 reasons into one. You don't have to go anywhere else to learn, experience, and sell faith-based travel. Our offerings cover the entire globe, so whether you just want to offer a faith-based retreat to Alaska or a biblically focused journeys of Paul in Greece itinerary, we've got you covered on all aspects. We'll train you on each destination through our webinars and give you plenty of guaranteed departures to pitch to your group leaders. Our FAM tours will then provide you with first-hand experience so you can confidently explain how our journeys work to your potential group leaders. Not to mention, we take safety and security very seriously. Our contacts on the ground keep us informed of current events, and we're very easily able to shift itineraries when situations on the ground dictates us to do so. These top 10 reasons are why ETS is the leader in faith-based travel.
And that's right, John. We're excited to work with you and each of our travel advisors. So if you haven't reached out to us to help you set up your first journey, go ahead and send us an email or give us a call. And please be sure to complete the faith-based travel specialist certification.
And I think Bethany and John would agree with me that the best part of our job is seeing you succeed in providing faith-based journeys for your group leaders and their guests. Specifically, we love to hear how lives, ministries, and churches are changed when people experience travel with a faith-based foundation. So thanks for joining us. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to get back to the phones here pretty soon, but I wanted to ask John and Bethany a couple of quick questions, and feel free to throw some questions into the chat if you're interested. But Bethany, I wanted to ask you first, do you have examples of travel advisors either partnering or doing something unique to be able to provide these and scale these programs?
Absolutely. I'm going to talk about one of the travel advisors that John works with. Robert Keach is an excellent example of how you can do a multiple agent project, we call it here. And all that means is you invite your other travel agents that either work under you as part of your franchise or that you just know locally in the area that maybe attend different churches. And so you all work together to promote the same tour. And so, one person gets 5, another gets 10, another gets 10. You all kind of know each other, and the next thing you know, you've worked with these multiple agents and you've filled a bus and you're all traveling together, and it's a great success. So it helps you pool your resources so that like you can get the TCs to make sure everybody goes. And it's a wonderful, wonderful way, especially if it's your first time doing something, that the pressure is not all on you to recruit, 20, 30 people. Get somebody to partner with you that maybe is also a travel agent, or like I said, that's part of kind of your home agency.
Absolutely, yeah. It's always great to have teamwork, and it just like we saw in that one video earlier, sometimes groups can be a little bit more challenging for new advisors that are used to working with individual clients. So partnering with other agents and working together, that just gives better service to your clients in the end.
Awesome. Now, John, I'm guessing some travel advisors are a little bit intimidated, even if they go to a church, maybe shifting that relationship and approaching it from a business standpoint. What would you tell to a travel advisor? How would you coach them if they're kind of getting nervous about making that transition into talking to their pastor or priest friend?
Well, you really want to approach it as sharing information, not coming off too sales-oriented. I mean, you already attend the church, so you have that in already. You most likely have been attending that church for years, so a simple conversation wouldn't hurt. See if you can get a moment of the group leader's time, and then just pitch the idea of doing faith-based travel. We highlighted 10 very good reasons why it benefits not only you as the advisor, but it benefits the group leader, it benefits the congregation, it benefits the church in general. So I think coming with an approach of not showing it as, just one-ended benefits, like you're the salesperson, you're going to reap all of the rewards, showing that it benefits everybody together, and that this is going to create long-lasting friendships. And when these things go well, these group trips to the Holy Land or other faith-based destinations, this can turn into repeat business for you. So that's another thing to consider as well.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you guys, sometimes the pastor is going to say no. But it's very rare that a church just has one pastor or one person that's in ministry. So you can even look to, if the pastor is like, I'm too busy, we're working on a capital campaign, we're trying to build a new building, but I don't mind if you promote it within the trip. So as long as he's willing to let you have group meetings, you can be the group leader. Like if you've got his blessing to go ahead and endorse it, and you can also reach out and try to get buy-in from maybe the choir leader or the worship team leader or someone that leads, a small group, or that's, responsible for the senior ministry or the women's ministry, especially if you're at a larger church. So, have that meeting, and even if they say no, you can turn around and ask them, like, can I still promote this? I would love to take these people and let them have this amazing faith-based journey.
And asking for referrals too is also something you can use as well, because these pastors and group leaders, oftentimes they're part of a larger network of other churches and pastors, so definitely doesn't hurt to ask for referrals as well.
And Judy did ask, can we still offer FIT into scheduled departure dates?
Absolutely. Nothing has changed there. Anything that is on our website is open. You can book individuals in, or you can book groups. Sometimes we'll have a group of 20, and then we've got 5 different individuals, from different agents, and we put them together so that they still get that fellowship opportunity. So yes, everything that is promoted on our website is open for individual bookings as well as groups.
And Judy, what I would say is the reason we say standard is some of our products are new, or we're seeing if they're going to work. And so every once in a while there is a departure date that doesn't end up going for whatever reason. And if that's the case, then we're very fair, and we will first try to rebook them with your help. Of course, you're going to be the one contacting them onto an alternative date or even an alternative product. But most of the time, the standard dates do go and are extremely successful. Now we have from Mike Filson, he said, I know the existing tours all include airfare from New York. If the group flies from another city, the add-on cost should be the same regardless of the tour because of the distinct fare is consistent. But when I emailed about this, I got a response that add-on costs can differ depending on the tour. Can you please explain that?
Yes, so typically our add-on costs are anywhere from $198 to, if they're coming from Honolulu, it's $898 because it usually means we have to fly them a day early and overnight them in New York. So depending on what city they fly from, they could pay a higher price. Now there's certain cities where there's a lot of lift, meaning a lot of flights going out of them. So, you know, Newark and New York, we typically are going to charge the exact same price, the advertised price. If you've got a whole group from Chicago and they have a good amount of flights to the destination, a lot of times we can honor for a custom group doing kind of the same pricing as New York. But when you get to a place like Atlanta, it has a lot of lift, but it's primarily Delta and its partners, and they kind of have a stranglehold on the area. So fares typically are $200 to $300 more per person from Atlanta anywhere than out of New York, New Jersey area. So yes, we can't offer, you know, if we're selling the trip for $3,998 from New York, the same price from, you know, Sacramento, California, which doesn't have as many flights, and you're going to have a connection somewhere.
Yes, but you also can offer a standard departure from New York with add-ons. You could have people flying from 8 different cities, and we do have a standard rate for that. There are occasions where there's exceptions, like Bethany said. If everybody's flying out of Washington Dulles, then sometimes we can negotiate. And we're able to find a little bit of a deeper discount there. But almost always it's annualized. So if it is in a specific calendar year, then we have a specific price for all of the major airports in the continental US on that one. Another question is, what's the best way to get up to that full bus besides partnering with agents? Have you seen any travel advisors do something to really thrive on filling those buses?
I've definitely seen some different strategies over the year. So, you know, there are travel advisors that they pick certain dates and they just go out and promote them. And they're like, okay, I'm going to promote these 5 dates. And they go to, you know, local community fairs and festivals when they can buy a table. They'll go and try to market it to different churches, like get meetings like, hey, can I come have a travel meeting? There are lots of them that will do events at their house or at like, you know, depending on your denomination, they'll do it at like a local brewery, and it's like, hey, I'm having a travel night, so, you know, you can come here, I'm going to do a little presentation, and you can learn about these kinds of trips. I see so many travel advisors now really using social media, you know, especially when it comes to something like the Holy Land. There are a lot of people that are nervous about that, so, you know, if they can hear from someone they know, hey, I've been here, or this is this great company, they're reputable, you know, you can trust booking it through me. That goes a long way, because there's so many people out there, especially Christians, that they've like, I've always been curious to go, but you know, there's multiple companies out there. I don't know who's legit. I don't know anybody that's been before. So, you know, it could be your Facebook friend from California that's always kind of wanted to go, and you start posting about your trip, and they're like, oh, that's awesome. How can I get booked with you? And then I also know of a very enterprising travel agent that, you know, he'll spend $200 or $300 on Google ads. And you would be surprised, you know, he usually will get, you know, 10, 15 bookings just from some of the Google ads sometimes. He's had really great luck with them. So for an investment of $200 or $300, if you got even one person, you know, you're making that back typically in commission. So if you got more than one person, you know, it paid for itself.
And listen to these tips, guys. Bethany's been doing this for 20 years. She doesn't look like it, but she's been doing it since she was 5. And no, just kidding. But honestly, from what I'd like to contribute is asking for the referral. So once you've successfully sold, and maybe even before, if you've had a good experience talking with a priest or a pastor about their faith-based journey, then ask who within their network, and be specific. Don't just say, do you know anybody that would like to do this? No, say, I'm looking for another 2 to 3 clergy people who lead congregations of this size who would like to either partner with you on your journey or provide their own journey. Who do you think that would, who comes to mind when I ask you? Then shut up. Give them some space to let their mind think. And if they say, you know what, I can't think of anyone right. You know what? That's great. I'll ask you at the end of the conversation. And then shut up. And then they might say, you know what? I think about Bishop Franklin. Yeah, Bishop Franklin would probably love this. Would you mind making an introduction for us? I'd love that. I'd even be happy to take the three of us out to coffee. And then if they say no, or not right now, I can't think of anyone right now, say, I'm going to follow up with you in a couple of weeks. Do you mind thinking about that and praying about that in the meantime? Sure. Great. Make sure you follow up. If you tell them you're going to follow up, always follow up. I hope you're not feeling patronized by this. These are just some tidbits and skills over the years that we've seen be successful. And we want you, especially the new travel advisors, to not grow weary in doing good. It can be really hard to get your first sale, but once you get a few under your belt, we're going to find that it becomes painless and easier for you the more you do it, and very, very rewarding.
Yeah, and once you get that first sale, I just bring this up because I had a call with an agent this week. So his very first trip is leaving on September 30th. And he called in and he was thanking us that everything seems to be going smoothly. You know, they'd gotten all the final documents, had a final meeting with the group. But he said something and it really just stuck with me. He's like, thank you so much. And I feel so much better now that my first trip is leaving, because now I have the confidence to start talking to other churches in my area. And it really does make a difference. Once you do nail that first sale and the trip goes, you can speak from a place from experience. When you're meeting with a potential group leader, you can be like, this is what I did for, you know, Christ Church down the street. You know, we took 20 people, we had a great time, they were able to get baptized at the Spring of Lydia, and they, you know, led devotions at the sites, and I work with this wonderful company, they take care of all the arrangements, and I, as the travel advisor, I'm gonna do the hard work for you. So you as a group leader, you just get them excited to go, and then while we're there, kind of be the spiritual presence. But you as the travel advisor, you're giving a lot of value to them. You're gonna take care of getting the registrations in, you're gonna follow up with people and get payments processed, you're going to collect all their passport information that we need. You're going to help answer all the questions there because you're local. You know, you're going to take care of all that detail and all that work that especially like a pastor that's running a church does not have time to do. So you've got to think of yourself as you are a tremendous value in what you're bringing to the table for them as well. So hopefully that gives you confidence, because you're going to work hard and it's going to be worth it.
Absolutely. Now, Nadia Besaraba asked, please tell a little bit more on travel advisory, as how safe is it to travel to the Holy Land? People do ask these questions. It's hard to guarantee anything these days, unfortunately. John, could you answer that one for Nadia?
Yeah, so as far as safety is concerned, like we said earlier, it's something that we're always monitoring. We have contacts on the ground that are keeping us up to date with what's going on. At this time, as far as our tours are concerned, the places that we visit aren't under any sort of safety advisories. Of course, there's global concern with the region. Of course, we understand that, but we have had tours since last October go and come back from the Holy Land, and they've been fine. And we're avoiding the areas that are in question. And like David was saying earlier, if there is an area in question, we're able to adjust our itineraries. If something is better to be done a different day because of local conditions, we're going to make those adjustments, because ultimately we're going to keep people safe. But at this time, the Holy Land is technically open. The airports are open. Some airlines are, flying. So
I'll interject here too, because Lufthansa just announced, and that's their entire group. So that's Swiss Air, Edelweiss, everybody. They're all flying back to Israel again. So it's just the U.S. airlines that are not. Everybody else has pretty much resumed. Jerusalem has not had any attacks. It's been open. All the holy sites are safe and, available for visiting. You can go up to the Sea of Galilee, as we've had our groups do. Everything's been operating as normal there. They still have the West Bank open. So, you can go to Bethlehem, you can go to Jericho. Flights have not stopped between the United States and Tel Aviv. El Al has not stopped flying this entire time. with no issues. So while it is really scary to see on the news what's happening up in the north, right by the border of Lebanon, on the flip side is there's not really a lot of significant holy sites. So we aren't going anywhere near there. We typically are staying more towards the middle of the country. The furthest north we go is the Sea of Galilee, which is not even all the way north. So
it's really a psychological thing, I think. And also for the congregational leaders, I think when it comes to risk tolerance, you've got the travel advisory, the travel advisor community, you've got the host, the leader, and then you've got the end guest. Now, let's say they were to book into June 2025. They are automatically going to get opposition from extended family, etc., even if they feel comfortable, and that may give them cold feet. The way that you would address that would be having a pre-sale webinar. Or some sort of an informational gathering where people can ask their cold feet questions so that they don't just internalize those. The truth of the matter is it is extremely safe. Statistically, Jerusalem is one of the safest cities in the world. Now, when it comes to the news media and impressions that people have, especially in seasons like now, the election, there's things that destabilize travel in people's minds, and it's psychological. Yes, there are existing threats from Iran toward Israel, but those are somewhat unfounded. They tried something several months ago, and actually it was a horrible failure on their part. And then they work through proxies, and normally that is surrounding the border in the north and surrounding Gaza. Every once in a while there's something else, but who wants to go to Chicago right now? So the truth of the matter is there's a lot of reasons to go to the Holy Land, and so if the flights were for some reason canceled into Ben Gurion Airport, we have such a large volume and clout with the airlines that we can normally still get them into the Holy Land via Jordan. So we will actually take a group and we'll adjust the itinerary and move it over to fly into Amman, and it's only 2 hours away from Jerusalem. So that's not too much of a problem either. The other piece that you can actually help out with the sale is when you're talking with the priest or minister, you could say, obviously your first choice is going to Israel. But if for some reason it's not working, or you're struggling with recruitment or whatever else, ETS will work with me and we'll find a solution for you. Most of the time that means either moving them to an alternative destination like Egypt, Greece, Spain, where we have a lot of volume, or on occasion, if we're really close to departure, we will postpone them. If it's just not feasible to get them into the country, or we do not deem that to be safe with our partnerships. So I hope that's not too much information, but it is still a good idea because we're starting to fill up into the end of 2025, and we've even started selling 2026. If you don't, the early bird gets the worm. If you don't get to us, everybody that's postponed over the last year are going to start booking up those hotel spaces, and we won't be able to get it for you at some point.
So this was kind of an early announcement, but yes, we have finished up 2026 Holy Land pricing, so we'll be releasing those here in the next few weeks.
Now, does your trip coverage plan include cancel for any reason?
So we do offer, you can purchase a plan through a company called TripMate. So we promote them, and they do have a cancel for any reason policy. There are still some other travel insurances that are not covering Israel right now. I believe Alliance is supposed to be starting again. So you are going to have to shop around, because there are some that if you were trying to go this year, they won't cover you, but next year they will. But our plan that we offer through TripMate is still covering Israel. It does have a cancel for any reason policy. It has, medical policy. It's got the baggage delay, trip delay, all that good stuff. So you can read about that on our website, because we've got links so that you can read the full TripMate policy.
We're actually not licensed to advise heavily on those policies, and they're different for every state. So you do need to read through it, but we can send you the link. I will say that most of the time war risk is an exclusion on travel protection. And
that's why you need the cancel for any reason.
Exactly.
Yep.
So if you're familiar with cancel for any reason, with us it's a voucher, and it does cover 100% of the non-refundable costs in voucher form for anything that we offer in our catalog. So you will have a lot of flexibility to work with us for a couple of years even. To rebook your clients. The other piece that's really important to mention is that there is health coverage. We've had tens, hundreds of thousands actually over in the Holy Land and anywhere else where they've had to, sometimes we'll have people that need to go to the hospital or whatnot, and that there is some medical coverage on that as well. So read the policy closely, and I think you'll be impressed. We also got a question from Judy. Are all of the Holy Land tours open for booking?
Yes, anything that you're seeing on our website is open for booking. Any of them that we close, we do mark those sold out, or we pull the dates off our website as we close them. So if you're still seeing it as an active program on our website, you can book it for your clients.
Yep.
Wonderful. Now, guys, there are over 100 million Christians in America from every denomination. So many of you represent a variety of denominations. I know we have Eastern Orthodox travel advisors. We've got so many Catholic travel advisors. We've got evangelical, Protestant, you name it. But most likely there's no one in your area selling to your specific community. So we really believe that you have a great opportunity. The most important aspect of this is faith and prayer. I actually wear a mustard seed around my neck to remind me of the importance of having even just a little bit of faith with which you can move mountains. So yes, this is intimidating to take this on. It might feel bigger than you. And guess what? You can do it. We believe in you. You have some of the best support in the industry here. And Michael McBride, of course, as our account executive, is doing a phenomenal job getting to know all of you and serving you. And we've got many groups departing even this month. So we're really excited to get you in there and get you dialed. If you have any other questions, feel free to email us at etstravelwithus.com. And we're looking forward to seeing you next time on ETS Live. Mark your calendars for October 30th at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you'd like to share video comments or pictures of your favorite fall trips for us to share on our next webinar, you can send them to ets@travelwithus.com. And yes, that was a little bit of a sneak preview of what we're going to be covering. The fall leaves are coming soon, maybe not in Florida.
It'll still be green here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.